everyone, and welcome to another live stream. And I am, as usual, super happy to be back. And for this episode, I have a very interesting and a special guest with me. But before jumping into it and getting them on the stream, let me give you a quick introduction. My name is Harshil Agrawal, and I work in the developer relations team here at Contentful. And you can always find me doing weird stuff on my Twitter. So here is the Twitter handle somewhere on your screen. And at Contentful, we always do events which follow a code of conduct. So if you are new to the community, I would encourage you all to take a look at our code of conduct. I have shared that link in the chat and it should now be popping up on the screen as well. TLDR, be respectful, be mindful of what you are sharing on the chat today. And one last thing before we get our guest on is if you are not a part of our Slack community, what are you waiting for? Come join our Slack community because we have a lot of things going on in the Slack community, and I have been told that a lot of exciting things are coming up on the Slack community, so you definitely want to be a part of it. Again, you can check out the link of the Slack community over here. Now, talking about today's live stream, I enjoy traveling, and if you follow me on Instagram or even on Twitter, you might see me post a lot of pictures around places that I visit. And today I got Brady with me, who also enjoys traveling a lot. And we were talking about it like, hey, you enjoy traveling, I enjoy traveling. Let's do something with traveling, right? So I'm not gonna spoil everything right now. Let me get Brady on the street. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. How's it going?
Going pretty good. I am excited for today's live stream. But before
Me too.
jumping into the whole thing, I would like you to give a quick introduction about yourself.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Brady. I am originally from the US, born and raised in Michigan, and I have been in Berlin for about 9 years. I joined Contentful about a year and 8 months ago, something like that. And I do tech recruiting. So I am a point of contact for people looking for tech jobs.
Awesome. So if you are looking to get hired at Contentful, you might want to reach out to Brady. Awesome.
Exactly.
Brady, I know you were on a vacation last week, right?
Correct.
And there was water involved. There was some beach involved as well. So how was it, and what did you do?
Well, first off, it was very good. So that's good. I had really nice weather before coming back to a pretty crisp and fresh Berlin. But I was in Portugal, so I actually linked my vacation with a conference for work. So enjoyed some free days before getting my mind back into working. And I was in southern Portugal, and before that, or southern Portugal, and then the conference was in Lisbon. So I kind of saw a couple spots. It was awesome. We'll just leave it at that. It was really great.
Wow, Portugal has been on my list for a while, and I'm like, yeah, I am gonna do it someday, but that has never happened. I
Bump
need
it up on
to
your
book the
list. It's
ticket. Yeah.
yeah, it's so great.
And last time we were chatting, you also mentioned a really cool trick that you do. You bookmark places that you visit on Google Maps, right?
Exactly. I actually started this a few years ago because I used to live in Madrid, and I have friends then who will go visit Madrid, and I'm not there anymore, of course, so then like take them around. And what I like to do then is save all of these places that I go to for when people actually say, "Hey, I'm going to Madrid," and then I can either just share my Google Map with them, or I know at least some bookmarks to send them and recommendations for them to do and things to go see. So I've then continued doing that in my travels, and just kind of, and it's also like a way for me to remember what I actually did when I was in Portugal, or remember what I did when I don't know, went to Boston or something like that.
That's awesome. And I feel like the project that we are gonna work today is gonna be helpful for you and your friends. You can just then share the link of your whole travel journey, and then they can go through it, see your experience, and then check out those places as well.
Exactly.
Awesome, awesome. I am really excited for this. And for the folks who don't know what we are doing, so we are gonna build a travel journal where we would be adding pictures. We would be, adding a couple of our favorite places. Maybe add a couple of description. I don't know. We'll see. We'll improvise as we always do on the live stream. And for that, Brady is gonna be the coder today. And Brady, I would love to know about your coding experience.
Let me give you a brief introduction. That was my introduction. The end. I have zero coding experience.
All right, so the chat. This is gonna be really interesting because we are gonna all code today with Rudy, and we're gonna help him build this application. So if we are stuck, I would love to see you popping up in the chat and helping me and Brady as well. All right, Brady. Let's start with bringing up your screen,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna pull it up over here, and you might want to move to glitch. Awesome, you're already there. So one thing that we decided is to use glitch because it allows you to create websites online and you can easily view the preview for this. So Brady didn't have to go ahead and install any kind of code editor or anything on the machine. So Brady, let's go ahead and create a new project. So on there, yeah, you see the new project. If you click on it, you get multiple options, but we are interested in a very simple website for now. So let's just do the first option, that's glitch hello website. Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, while this project is loading, Glitch will basically create a website for us, and this is going to be a template that we are going to use to build on this. And you can see this is some information about the website. It tells us that there is a README file. So basically, a README file would contain some information about the project. Then there is an index.html file. This is the file where we will spend a bit of time. So we are gonna, code in there, and there's a script.js file, and this is where we will be writing some JavaScript code. And then there's style.css, which we will be using to style our website. All right. There is on the bottom, if you see a preview option. So if you click on the preview option on the bottom, yeah, you want to open the preview in pane.
Okay.
So this is the sample application that is created for us. So you can see it is pretty looking. It has something in there, but this is not our website. We don't want this. We want our own website. So
Mhm.
let's get started with adding our own code.
Okay.
So let's go to index.html.
Index HTML.
Right. Now, everything that we will write in index.html is going to be basically reflected on the pane on the right hand side, right?
Mhm.
So if you scroll down, now you can see there are a couple of angle brackets and some text and stuff like that. So those are basically called tags in the HTML world.
Okay.
So I am not going to go into all these tags because it might take a lot of time. I'm just going to, move on to the important tags that we are interested in today. So if you
Mhm.
scroll down, right. So if you scroll a bit up, just a bit up. Yeah, perfect. So you see there is a closing head tag and then there is a body tag.
Yes, here.
Yeah. So everything that you add in the body tag will be displayed to the user or will be displayed on this particular page, right?
Mhm.
So if you see there is on line 60 that it says hello world.
Yes, right here.
Yeah. So if you change this to maybe, I don't know, travel journal or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, let's just keep it simple.
Woohoo. So you just edited a web page and you can already see the changes on there, right?
Awesome.
So that's pretty cool, right? So you are kind of getting into that developer phase. You are becoming a developer now.
I mean, I think my title is maybe changing from tech recruiter to junior software developer. I'll have to talk to my boss.
All right. So let's try to understand what is happening over here. So we have a div tag which contains another div tag, and then there is an h1 tag, right? Now
Yes.
div tags, just think of them as basically empty boxes. So we have an empty box, within that we have another empty box, and then we have an h1 tag. Now h1 tags are basically header tags, and we
Hmm.
have six of those. So from h1 to h6, we have different type of header tags, right? And we are over here because this is the kind of the main title of a web page. We are using the h1 tag.
Hmm.
Awesome. Now moving forward, we have an image tag, which is img. Now this tag is basically used to render any images that we want. So you can see it has a source attribute, which is basically getting the URL of that image, and
Yes.
then there is a class which I'll come back in a while, and there is an alt text. Let's just say someone is using a screen reader to view the website, right?
Hmm.
Because they're using a screen reader, the image would not be helpful for them, and the screen reader would then read out the alt text for them. So for them, it would be like this is an image of editor illustration or something like that.
I see. Okay.
And then there is a title, which would be again, something that we can customize as well. Now,
Hmm.
we don't want to have this image, so we can, remove that code. So you can select that from line 67 to 62. Yeah, and just delete it. Perfect. And then there is another div, which has another header tag, which is simply an h2. And we also probably don't want this, but let's just talk about the paragraph tag because this is a new tag. There is a paragraph tag, which is basically where you can, write all your paragraphs. And there is a strong tag in there. So if you see, a hello website is within the strong tags,
Yeah.
and it is on the web page, it's bold. So if you
Yep.
don't want to, customize it, if you just want to bold a particular section, you can use those tags as well.
Hmm. So am I going to change the text here to what I want?
Yeah. So if you change the text to whatever you want, or maybe let's do this. Let's do this. Let's add a new paragraph text after the h1 tag and give this a subtitle.
So right after this H1, you mean up here?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to put a paragraph, you said, right?
Yeah. Just do P. Yeah, and then you need to close the tag. And you see, Glitch also added the closing tag for you automatically, so you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, with the slash and the P.
Yeah. Exactly.
Got it. So now I can write here whatever I want to kind
Yeah.
of introduce my journal, right?
Exactly.
Join me on my travels. Oh gosh, this is where the spontaneousness of me having to present something fun and witty is just never going to translate. So join me on my travels, food journeys, since I like to eat.
While you're figuring out the subtitle, I would like to ask from the chat, like, which is their favorite, travel or vacation place? Which is, like a go-to place where you would always be happy to go back to, just to relax, just to have fun. I'm curious to know what folks enjoy. You're doing good with this. I like it. Nice. All right. So we have a title and a subtitle as well. But let's just try to maybe change a bit of styling if we want.
How about this?
Nice. Nice.
Okay, we're
Very
going to do that.
good. I mean, this is also smart.
This is what?
This is smart. I like this.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little play on Where's Waldo, and also
Mhm.
there's some internal content also here in Contentful of me lurking around the office. So this kind of plays on that.
I have seen some posts on LinkedIn about that.
Yeah, there's also some external content. That's true.
Uh, all right. So I was talking about maybe, trying to play a bit with the colors and see if you want to change the background color or the text color, if you like.
No, I definitely feel like it. That mint green would be happy to change for something a little less
Mhm.
hardcore, so maybe something a little softer.
All right. So whenever we are building web pages, we always style them in a file called style.css. And
Hmm.
CSS is basically where you would write all the styling code for your website. So if you click on that, then you see there is a lot of code in there, which is different from what it looks like in HTML. But I'm gonna walk you through this.
Okay.
So with the from line 18 to 27, what we are doing is we are declaring some variables. So let's just say someone else wants to come ahead and use the same styling with that you have. They don't have to search for the color. They can simply use, let's just say, the color bg variable, and
Hmm.
then that color will be used for whatever element they want to use, right? Now, because we want to change the background color, we want to definitely update the color on line 19th.
Oh yeah, BG probably background.
Yeah. And we want to change the everything that is after the colon. Now, the colors in the HTML or the web world can be written in different ways. And this is one of the ways of writing it. And it is called hex code.
Hmm.
Now, do you have a specific color in mind that you want to try out?
Um, let's just. I mean, we can do like a light green, so kind of like a lighter olive green color.
All right, let's
Or am I
let's do
getting
this.
too detailed?
I want to show you something that I didn't actually plan, but I am. And now what I just want to show it to you. So if you go to that to the section where we have the page.
The HTML
No,
page?
just on the preview side. Yeah,
Oh
and if you
yeah.
right click and click on inspect. No, that was perfect. Do you want to right click again? Yeah, just
Where am
click
I?
on inspect. It's the third last option.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So this opens what we call as developer tools in the browser. You can do this with any website that you want, right? Now,
Hmm.
if you now there are two columns, two rows basically, the elements row and the styles for that.
Hmm.
So if you go to the column above and scroll a bit,
Right here, you mean?
sorry, no, the above row,
Here.
yeah, and scroll a bit, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Not that much. Go down, go down, go down. Let's do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, just yeah. You see the body, just click on body over there.
Yep.
Yeah. And now you see that we get a background color property down below in the column and down in the row under styles. Yeah.
Down here.
So if you click on that, yeah, if you click on that color that is highlighted, no, just click on the color. Yep. And you get
Ooh.
a drop down. So now you can select whichever color you want and you can also see the changes happening live.
Yeah, let's just make it a little bit softer. Yeah, we'll go with this. Maybe I didn't really change it that much, but I just feel like it's a little bit softer.
Yeah, looks good. All right.
Cool.
So now if you see, it also has the hex code for you, just below
Just
where you
here.
picked it up. Yeah. So you want to copy that hex code and yeah, just paste it in here and it's updated. Now we can close the dev tools because we don't need it anymore. Right.
Okay.
This is just one of the hacks that developers use to, speed up the development process. Like, hey, let's, not try out different things, just do it from there, see
Yeah.
what it looks like, and then copy the code from there and just paste it in the code.
Cool.
All right, so we have, I think, the initial page up and running, but we don't have the content yet. And we want to get the content. So let's start adding content, or let's start first of all, decide what kind of content we want to display and work on the content model. So if
Sure.
you go to Contentful,
Yep.
all right. So for the folks joining in, we already created a space. We're calling it Travel Journal because I am very creative with names. Uh, and I asked Brady to add a couple of images so that we don't waste a lot of time during the live stream to do that. So we have the images, but we don't have a content model. Now, if you click on the content model type, sorry, the content model tab, yeah,
Up here on the top,
yeah,
right?
you see that there is one content model that I created and I was playing around with it, but this is something that we don't really want to use. So if you click on add content type, now this is where we can add our own content types. So what I have in mind is to have two different content types. The first is going to be location. So this will have one field that I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. But before that, let's create it. So click on the create button.
Yep.
So now we have one content type. Now we want to add some fields to it.
Okay, this opened a whole nother page of just location. Got it.
Yeah. So if you click on add field, now one thing I like about Contentful is that we have a location content type. So you can click on that. You can give it whatever you want to. Maybe it's now up to you. How do you want to, have this travel journey? Do you want to have a list of cities where you have been to? Do you want to do it by country? It's on you. How do you want to go ahead?
I mean, if I upload, like the pictures that I uploaded, they were all about Portugal. I guess if I were to then expand this to my, let's say, the last 5 to 7 years of travel, then I would obviously want to do it by city, or maybe even, yeah, probably city.
Let's do city. I mean, we can always change pictures. So
okay, so then let's
we can call this city.
Okay, so we're just naming it city.
Yeah, and you want to click on create and configure. Yeah, now we can see that we get a couple of options, and one thing I want to do is, okay, let's go to the appearance tab.
Appearance.
Yeah. All right. If you go to the validation tab, I just want to make sure that we have all the options correct. Yeah. So this should be a required field because we want to make sure that the author always adds a location, and we can click on confirm.
All right.
So we have one content type created, and we can go ahead and save this.
I'm sorry, where can we go?
The save this. So on the top right, there is a save option.
All right, save, yeah.
All right. So what we did just now is we basically created some sort of a form so that, if this is right now you, but if let's just say you get your friends to also, join you on this project, right? And they also start adding stuff. So what they can do is then they can simply go ahead in Contentful and start adding the content. And that's what we are going to do for now. So if you go to the content tab.
Yep.
Click on add entry.
Yes.
And remember, we created a content type called location. So select location. All right. So you have a map. You can select from there, or you can just start typing the place.
Yeah, I mean, one of the pictures that I'm trying to think of, it was in some really small village. I don't even know where I was, to be honest with you. But I can find it on a map. Am I going to be able to click right here? So it was somewhere. I think it was right around here. Yeah,
So
that sounds about right.
you clicked on it and it already added it by
Yep.
itself.
Awesome.
All right. So we now have one location in here, and if you check on the right hand side, the status is in draft. So by
Mm-hmm.
default, always all the content that you add is going to be in the draft state. And
Okay.
if it's in the draft state, you cannot actually view it in production. You will have to then use a different API, which I don't want to get into right now. But because we are happy with this, we want to publish this. So if you click on publish, this will change the status to published.
Right.
All right. One thing that we should have done is also add a title for this, which I'm now realizing. So maybe let's go ahead and modify this content model.
Mm-hmm.
If you
I
go
go
back
back
to
up
the
here.
content model, yeah. If you go to location, let's go ahead and add a new field.
All right.
And this time we are going to add a text field.
Mm-hmm.
And we can just call it, I don't know, title or something, or a city, or we already have city. So city name or title or something like that. All right. And if you click on create and configure, now in the field option section on the same screen, if you see there is this field represents the entry title, you want to
Yeah.
select that. Yeah.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you confirm and save this, we'll now have an city name field as well. So if you go back to content, and if you see over here right now, it says untitled, right? So imagine
Yeah.
we have a lot of entries and each of them is untitled. We don't know which entry we want to make changes to, or either delete it or unpublish as well, right? And that's why
Mm-hmm.
we added that field. So if you open it, what we can do is we can just copy the address and paste it in the title field.
This address.
Yeah.
So then I go back then to content
No.
model.
If you scroll down, you see that we already have a new field.
Oh, right. Yeah. Didn't even see that.
And we can now publish the changes because we made some changes, but we have to again tell like, hey, okay, I am happy with these changes. Let's use this in production.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got one city in, and all right, let's go ahead and create another content model.
So back up here.
Mm-hmm. Content type. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now this is gonna basically contain your maybe a list of favorite places, your list of favorite cafes, the images, your reviews and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
you might want to maybe call it.
I mean, I feel like if you then get into favorite food, things to see, reviews, comments, like those are all going to be so different, you know, like I don't know, for me, I'm not going to review a beach and write a review about how amazing it was. I would probably just say great beach, like or like soft sand or something like that.
All right, but
So-
all that information we want to add in this particular content type. So maybe, I don't know, you want to call it highlights or review or something like that.
Sure, let's do highlights.
Awesome. You know the next step. All right. And now we want to add a field.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to again have a title for this. So we're going to select text.
Yep.
You can call it, I don't know, city name again. And like this is currently kind of repetitive, but what generally I would do is I would have an app which would then auto populate this whenever I am linking between those entries. And I'll talk about it when we start doing that.
Okay. So what do you think would be a smart one to name, or what would be smart to name this?
City name, or simply city if you want to call it.
All right, we'll just do city.
All right, and then you know the next step. And we want to tell it, yep. And we click on confirm. All right, now we want to have a few more fields, right? We want to have images in there.
Yeah.
So we want to
This is
maybe
where I
have
can
it.
just keep adding fields, right?
Yeah. So you can
All
do
right.
media
Media, correct.
pictures. You can either, have a single image or you can do many files. Now, I know you have uploaded a couple of pictures, so maybe you want to do many files.
All right.
All right, and we can simply click on create if we want, or if we want to check into, all the other settings, we can click on create and configure.
So, okay, what exactly? So when I was clicking like when I opened the city field, I clicked something here. What was that box and what does it do?
All right. So if you remember when we added the location for that particular village and
Yeah.
we checked the content, on the content page it showed untitled,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what we did was we told Contentful like, hey, this is a new field and this field should be treated as the title for that entry.
Okay, I
So
see.
if you go to content, yeah, it will show that instead of now untitled, it will show the content that we entered in that particular field.
Okay, I gotcha.
All right, we got the pictures. We also want to connect this with a particular location
Mm-hmm.
that we just added. So let's go ahead and add a field. And over here, what we want to do is we want to reference it to already existing entry. And that's where you click on, yeah, reference. And you can give it the name, maybe location. And because each city is definitely going to have only one single reference, we want to keep it as it is. And now over here, we want to go ahead and click on create and configure.
All right.
And if you go to validation,
Mm-hmm.
there is an option that says accept only specified entry type. So if you check that, we can now select which entry type it should have a reference to. Because we only want this to reference to the location entry content type and not the places content type.
All right.
Yep, and you can click on confirm now. And let's add one last field, which would basically be which. Okay, I am trying to think which would be a better one. Let's do just simply text,
All right.
and you can call it, I don't know, description maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because to like put a little caption under it or something.
Awesome, perfect. And if you see now in the select type, there is an option to have this either, a short text, which is 256 characters, or a longer text, right? So because it's a description, 256 characters might not work well. So we might want to,
Right.
yeah, go with long text, and you can simply click on create now.
All right.
All right. So we got this as well. Now, do you want to have any other things going in there?
I mean, I think to start, this is going to be fine because I don't know if I mean, I think just being a busy human being, not just me, I'm sure everyone out there, you would have to dedicate a lot of time to really make this, in depth and have this and this and this. But what I would do is just post pictures with locations and a quick description. So it's just kind of like a guide to say, oh, hey, where
True.
I've been, or maybe the friends can then look into it and say, oh, I'm going to go there next month. So I think I would keep it like this and not get into any crazy detail. Maybe that would then come at a later date or like a later session.
That's a really smart idea. I like how you are thinking. You are. I can see you already being a developer now.
Send me the contract. I'm ready.
All right. Let's save this content type and then let's go ahead and add an entry for this. Perfect. Now we have saved this. Let's go to content and add an entry.
Content and add an entry. I guess
Yep.
does it really matter?
It does matter, right? Because
Oh,
if you click on location, it's gonna give you
It's going to take me to this content type that I already have. Or should I click on highlights?
I'm back.
I was going to say, where'd you go? I thought you were leaving me to do my job all by myself, my new software engineering job. And I was like, not yet. I still need your support.
All right. So what I was saying, yeah. So if you click on the highlights content type, then you will
Yeah.
get all the fields that we just created for the highlights content type. If you
I
select
see. Okay.
location, then it would show the location fields, right? Because we
Yep.
want to add an entry for highlights, we selected the highlights thing.
Got
You
it.
can enter the city name. This can be for now, I don't know, any random name, or you can try pasting. Just do Control V or Command V.
So, I mean, should I already be thinking of like the picture that I'm going to post? So, which is already going to reference the city that I was in?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I know that I clicked on this little village by the beach, but one of the pictures
Mhm.
that I have, I took in Faro.
It's all
So
right.
I'll
I
use that.
mean,
It's not
it's
confusing.
you, me, and our viewers. No one else knows about it.
Okay, not yet. This might go viral. Okay, so let's.
And
Yeah, I'm thinking of one picture that was in Faro, so we'll start with that one.
awesome. And now you want to add media? Yep. And because we already added the media, we can select add existing media.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can select the picture. All right. And then we can also add location. Now here's interesting. Yeah. Just click on that.
Okay.
Now if you see, we currently haven't added an entry for Faro in the location content type.
Right.
But we can add it right now. So you can, if you see there is an option, yeah, just click on location. And now over here, you can do that. Maybe do Faro, Portugal. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I see the drop down. Sorry.
And if you scroll down, just add Faro in there. And we can publish this.
Mm-hmm.
And now if you see on there is a small back arrow button on the top left. Top left, yeah, top
Here.
left. No, no, no. Uh,
Whoops.
yeah. You are at the correct place.
Am I clicking over here?
Yeah, just click over there, and you should be in there. Yeah. All right,
Oh, nice.
and maybe add a few lines of description, or just I don't know.
So describing then Faro, or do I describe the picture? I guess.
You can describe far. Yeah.
Okay. In a Fisher city on the southern coast of Portugal. Okay.
Perfect. And we also want to publish this one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you see now it has given you a pop-up like, "Hey, you haven't published your image yet."
Yeah,
So
because they're
what
all
we
in
can do
draft.
is, yeah, let's just publish. Click on publish anyway, and then we'll go to the image and publish it. All
Okay.
right. This is now published. Now, if you go to media, the media tab on the top,
Media tab.
yeah, let's just select all and just click on publish. All the media is published now.
So when this says published, like let's say 10 of my friends have access to this travel journal, do they see these pictures that aren't like officially, let's say, published on what you might see on the website? Or is this just published in the back end and I have to then actively put this into a content type?
Exactly. So it's the second part, right? It's published on the back end,
Okay.
and unless and until you call it in the front end, people would not be able to view the images.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. So we got the content type setup as well, and I think we have we got enough time to start getting this information on our web page. So let's go to glitch again.
Hmm.
And now what we want to do is we want to write some code to make calls over here and get some information in here.
All
Let's
right.
do this. All right. So if you click on script.js,
Yes.
this is where we are gonna write some JavaScript code. Now we can't delete everything that's in here because we don't need it.
Can or cannot?
We don't need them. We can
We
delete
can delete
them.
everything.
Yeah.
Well, that feels satisfying.
All right. Now what we want to do is we wanna call the contentful API and get
Hmm.
some information from it, right? So there is a way to do that is using something that's called a fetch function. And I'm trying to think of a more simpler way to do this, but let's go ahead with this.
All right.
So what this function will do is it will get all the information from the API and give you the response, right?
Yep.
So hmm, let's do this. Write fetch and then open brackets,
I'm sorry. Do what?
parentheses. So these are curly braces. It might be 9 and 0. The brackets are 9 and 0.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Now
These ones, right?
this takes a parameter that is the URL and the method for calling it. Now every time we have, let's just say, any kind of API call that we make, we can make it in different ways. There are different methods for that. First is post, which allows you to post some information to that website or that API that you are calling.
Hmm.
Then there is get, which will allow us to get some information. There is delete, which will allow us to delete some information. And then there is put, which allows us to update that information. So these are the basics. There are a couple of other methods. But right now, what we want to do is we want to make a call to the GraphQL API. So let's first get that URL, try out a simple GraphQL query, and then use it in here. I see. I know I threw a lot of terms in there. So let's take it slow. Let's take it
Yeah.
slow.
Help me out here.
Okay. What I am trying to do is find a quick, simple example. All right. Hmm. Just give me a minute. I am just trying to. All right, let's do this. Let's remove fetch and let's do it in a very a more simpler way. So let's do a variable like var. No, it's just var.
A VAR. Okay.
Yeah, space URL equals, and you want to open quotes.
Yep.
And now I am gonna share a link with you, which we will be using. Oh my god.
You're gonna share
All
a link
right.
with me, right?
Yeah, and I have added it in private chat.
All right.
So you can, yep, just paste it in there. Now here is a couple of information missing from here. So if you see there is a curly braces after this. So this is where we want to enter our space ID. Now we haven't talked about space, so let's talk about it.
Okay.
So if you go back to Contentful, now in Contentful, projects are basically categorized into different kind of spaces. So right now, if you see, it's Harshil and then Travel Journal on the top left, right?
Yeah.
So Harshil is the organization that I have created for myself, which where I have a lot of different spaces, and Travel Journal is one of those spaces, right? Now what we
Hmm.
want to do is we want that ID of that particular space.
Okay.
And this will allow or tell contentful like, hey, I am interested in the content of only this particular page. And there are two different ways to get the ID. So if you
Mhm.
check on the URL on the top where it says app.contentful.com spaces slash something something something,
Yep.
that thing is basically the ID. Yeah.
And then we
And
insert
you
it
can
here.
replace it. Yeah, you have to replace the braces as well. Right? And at the very end, there is something that is access token.
Yep.
Now, access token is required to tell Contentful like, hey, this is a genuine request coming in from Brady or maybe Harshil. And
Hmm.
access token allows you to make a secure a call. Now we are gonna get an access token. So let's go back to Contentful again. If you click on settings and if you click on API keys,
Yes.
you click on add API key.
Yep.
All right, so if you see, we got the space ID in here as well. And if you scroll a bit down, awesome. We got two different APIs. One is the content
Mhm.
delivery API, and the other is the content preview API. Now,
Yep.
both of these API would allow you to only read some information from Contentful. You won't be able to add any other information to Contentful using these APIs. So in a
Hmm.
way, if you expose these APIs, which we are gonna do on this stream, we are still, kind of in a secured space because no one will able to write information in our space right now.
Hmm.
Now, the major difference between them is if you have content which is not published or which is in the draft state, then we would want to use the content preview API because the content delivery API would only and only give you the published content.
Okay, I see.
All right, because we have everything published and we want to get the production ready code, you can click on the copy icon for the content delivery API access token.
This one right here.
Yeah, and go back to our file. Yeah, and then paste it after the equal to sign.
So right here, right?
Yeah. All right. So we now have kind of made a secure connection in a way. Now, what we also want to do is we also want to tell Contentful like, hey, I want the entries which are only of a particular content type. In our example, we can do something for, let's just do for location, for example, right? So
Hmm.
what I want you to do is add this. I'm just typing it in our chat, and yeah,
Am
add
I adding
it,
this?
add
Go ahead.
it before the quote, before closing the quote.
So right directly
Yeah,
after this API key.
true. Perfect. So now Contentful will fetch only the content for the location content type.
Hmm.
All right, we have the URL. Let's try to see if we can get some information now. So now let's write a fetch function. All right, now remember the first thing we wanted to pass was the URL. So we already have it. All right, awesome. And now after the braces, yeah, just do dot and then THEN,
What do I write after this? I'm sorry.
then THEN, and open the brackets again. And then write, let's just do RES and then an equal to sign and then an angle bracket,
Uh,
an angle bracket, a greater than or less than.
oh yeah, that one. Okay.
Yeah. No. The other one.
This one.
Yeah. And do res.json dot.
Sorry.
Yeah. And then again do brackets after JSON
After the bracket.
No, no, no. Between the bracket and JSON, yeah. Just open and close brackets. Awesome. Okay. I am gonna take a pause and I'm gonna explain you what we did just now.
Yeah.
So we are fetching some information, and after fetching the information, what we are doing is we are getting some response from the API. Now that
Hmm.
response is stored in the res keyword, and what we are doing is we are using a .json function to convert that into a JSON format.
Okay.
A JSON format is basically a format that is very popularly used, and it is basically contains key and a value. So you will have name, Harshil, city, Berlin, company, contentful, and like that.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we are doing this. We get some response. Now let's write another dot then.
Dot what?
No, after the closing bracket, after the last bracket, yeah, dot then again then,
Yeah.
and then open the brackets. And this time let's just do result result, or you can just use res. Yeah, and again the equal to sign and the angle bracket, and then do console dot log. It's console.
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
It's so uh
Oh, console.
console. Yeah. All right, and again open bracket, and then just write result in there.
What am I writing here?
Result.
Result. Yep.
Yeah. So what we are now doing is we're telling like, hey, now that it is converted into the JSON, we are now calling it result and not res. We are telling like, hey, once we get that result, print it out in our terminal.
Hmm.
All right. So let's see. I hmm. I'm just trying to see if there is an option where you can open the console for glitch. Can you hide the StreamYard pop-up that you are getting below? All right, so there is no console option. If you click on the log, can you try clicking on the logs tab?
Right down here.
Yeah. All right, it is printing some information that is interesting. Uh, but I want to get the data. Mm, if you click on debugger, this is opening the debugger, which we don't want. Hmm.
Should I close
This
that?
is no, yeah, we don't want that. Uh, yeah, we can stop the debugger. We're just trying to find where we can get this. Let's do this. Let's click on the inspect again. Let's right click and do inspect. And now there is an on the top there is elements and there is console.
Yep.
Yeah, click on that. All right, and if you click on the object, awesome. So this is basically coming in from the function that we just wrote. So if you click on items now,
Yes.
and if you click on 0 or 1, any of those, you can see we got in the fields, we got the city and the city name.
Cool.
And because we had two locations for that, we got just two entries for it. All right.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So we are now getting information from Contentful, which is perfect. But I also am looking at the time, and we just have 5 more minutes.
Hmm.
Uh, so what we can do is I can share a code with you that you
All
can
right.
directly copy and paste, but we won't be able to implement it. let's do this. Let's end the live stream here. Because I don't think we would be able to complete it. But what I want to see is, if you have any questions or if you want to do a quick recap of what we just did.
Yeah, sure. Let's do a recap. I mean, I think it's good to see how. I mean, I thought the most interesting thing actually happened in the last couple of minutes here. How you write this code and then it's pulling stuff from Contentful. I think that's. I mean, it's like one piece of code that's pulling all that information. So I think that that's pretty interesting. But yeah, let's do a recap of what we did.
All right. Do you want to try doing the recap?
Oh my gosh, are you putting me on the spot? Okay, I mean, I'll try my best. This is my first day as a software engineer, so maybe people will be forgiving. So, I mean, obviously, creating this travel journal, you created these content models, or hold on, yeah, these content models that are already kind of like categorizing the information that you're wanting to put onto your website. So I talked about doing locations and then highlights in those locations, whether that's going to be posting a picture of food or beaches or monuments or whatever that might be. And then within the content, these particular content types, this is where I kind of got a little bit lost and confused. So maybe you could take over and kind of explain the content, this particular content tab. Because I
Sure.
kind of got mixed up here on how this was actually, I guess, getting embedded into the website that we're building.
Right. So right now what we are doing is in the in the content tab especially, we are just adding entries right now, right? Once we have some entries, we were then fetching those entries on the website, right? Now, what the idea over here is, ideally, we want to have a map on a website which would pinpoint to those particular locations. And that's why we had a location content type so that we can use that information coming in from contentful and display that pin. Let's just assume we completed that step and we have those pins. The next step we want to do is we want to have some information going when someone clicks on that pin. We want to show some information, or maybe take them to a new page where we
Right.
have more information in there, right? And this is where the highlights content type comes into the picture. So
Got
when
it.
someone clicks on it, we then get the highlight of only that particular location.
Okay, gotcha. And so then that will then, I guess, in theory, maybe once you click on the pinpoint, that then will take you to either the pictures or the comments that I've already made in that specific area.
Exactly.
Got it. So yeah, I mean, once we then kind of linked everything there, we were then able to go into here and create this API that pulls the information from Contentful. That, of course, with a little bit of extra work and some more time, will actually appear then on this journal, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. Awesome.
Cool.
All right. This was fantastic. And you did a very good summary, better than me. I like it.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Thanks. But yeah, it was really fun. And I am actually curious to kind of get this to some kind of working state where I can then share it with anyone who might be interested. I mean, who knows? But maybe someday I'll be viral, and everyone will
Aren't
know
you
who
already viral?
I am. And everyone will know where I am.
That's pretty awesome. So before we end the live stream, I want to thank you for joining in, and we are gonna continue building it in the next live stream. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully, in the next live stream, I am hoping that we can also add maps, which would make it more fun. So let's
Yeah.
see how far we can go in the next live stream. But this
Cool.
was fun. Brady, do you have any last comments that you want to share?
Not in particular, but no, nothing in particular. I enjoyed the session. I really came into this not knowing what to expect. It's actually easier than it looks. I mean, obviously, writing code is might take some time to get used to, but it was really fun. So thanks for blocking some time for me and kind of guiding me through this crash course of building something with Contentful. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you again. And I'm just gonna spill out some beans over here. 90% of coding is just copying and pasting, and that's what we were doing today.
Is that what we employ all of these people for? Just copying and pasting? That's my new interview question.
Awesome. I don't want to comment on that, otherwise I might get into trouble. But yeah, thank you for joining in. And if folks you want to reach out to Brady, you want to talk about getting into contentful or just maybe traveling as well. You recently went to Portugal. If you are going to Portugal and you want to have some recommendations, reach out to Brady on LinkedIn, and the link is on your screen. It's on the also on the chat. So go ahead and reach out to him if you just want to chat with him. And you all know where to reach out to me. You can always reach out to me on Twitter. I am very active on Twitter, and I would love to chat with you all on Twitter as well. So thank you all again for joining in, and I hope you all enjoyed today's live stream and see you soon in the next one. Have a nice day.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.